What's up, guys? Here with you at FC Wonderkid, episode 118, and what a special way to celebrate here in Portugal with a beautiful view. Thank you, Brendan. And how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I might stay. I've already said that. But no, this is awesome to be able to do this. To have this is my home base. I've been here now twice since Alex and I have met each other. Started FC Wonderkid, and it's awesome to bring episode 118, which is just bonkers to think about. That we've been that far, 2 full years plus.
Exactly.
And now we're doing so at the beginning of the Premier League season, at the beginning of other seasons. We went to the Sporting game last night. We met a bunch of people. Just a really, really fun time overall. If you've never been to Portugal, is there a visit Portugal? Can I get paid for this? If you've never been to Portugal, come
Please.
And look us up. Oh, I mean, look Alex up, but maybe I'll be here at the same time. But anyway, a lot of action to
Thank
get
you,
to.
Betanu, for that Sporting game.
Yeah, true.
And thank you, people, for watching all of our podcasts and making this possible.
Yeah.
And like this video, because look at how bold Breton and I are going with this. We're just asking for a simple like and comment your opinions about what we will be discussing. Because yes, we'll start with Prem, but we're going to be dedicated a lot more in our podcast to Wonderkids, people. So tell us topics too about Wonderkids that you'd like, maybe nationalities, positions. Go bold and just tell us topics about Wonderkids that you want to see in our episode 119. Sticking with Prem.
Yes, sticking with Prem.
Newcastle top 4?
New. I mean, that was a very sound, convincing, wonderful win against Aston Villa.
A team that's top 6, rumoredly contending.
Yeah. What did I have? I had him 7th, and I had it being the crux of it being their defense. And Aston Villa unfortunately forgot to show up. It also did not help that early on, one of their leaders, not Ezri Konsa, it was Tyrone Mings. Tyrone Mings went down with a very, very bad injury. It's not looking good. So Diego Carlos got his chance, and Pau Torres got his chance, but they also got obliterated. And so Newcastle, something to be said, man. They knew what they were doing. They played wonderful ball. Alexander Isak, I don't think I was that far off. Alexander Isak was my dark horse to wind up on the podium in the Golden Boot.
Go check out that video that we will be posting, or just subscribe to us because the Golden Boot predictions, that's going to be up. But talking about Isak, I was going to ask you that. How many goals do you reckon Isak is going to get now?
Well,
starting like this?
Yeah, how much do you think is going to take to get on the podium? That's the question.
More than 20 goals, definitely.
Probably more than 20. So I'll literally say 20.
20?
Yeah, which I think is a massive step up for the kid.
Completely.
Kid,
and seeing the form that he was at the late season, last season in the Premier League, I think Alexander Isak getting more than 20 or 20 Premier League goals. That's a bold statement, but here at FC Wonderkid, we're going to believe it. And I want to say to Tonali and Bruno Guimarães.
Yes.
That midfield is literally a cheat code if it goes right. Yeah. And that's why I have maybe Newcastle surprising a lot of people in the Champions League and going through to the knockout stages. But in the Prem, top 4 can be a reality for this team if they're beating Aston Villa 5-1. 5-1. Unai Emery is not a bad manager.
No.
He looked bad.
No, he looked bad. He was, I'd go as far as to say that is not the opener.
They look bad.
No, that was terrible. So, Tonali. I know it's weird for somebody to say that they were surprised about Tonali, but I was surprised, okay? Because I've seen him with AC Milan, but that was not the same AC Milan Tonali. That was a different role. He was involved in 3 or 4 of the goals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, a lot more.
And I know it was pre-assists or whatever you want to call it, the pass to the goal.
A bit like Shelby, no?
Yeah, and he had a goal of his own, crashing the net when Anthony Gordon, got to give him credit too, but if Sandro Tonali plays like that, if that's day 1 in the tune, it's going to be a very good year for Newcastle.
I'm not going to say Tonali is going to be in the best team of the Premier League this season, but he's definitely be in the contention. Maybe people at the end of this season in the Premier League will be putting Tonali ahead of Enzo. I don't think that's going to be the case. Yeah. But after this game, Tonali definitely had a great first impression in the Premier League. So, people, tell us what are you thinking too with Newcastle, and are they going to sign any other players? Leave it to happen, and he's on the bench too still. Yep. So let's wait and see what happens.
Harvey Barnes, goal and assist, but moving on.
So another team that we saw scored 2 goals in 6 minutes, and they, in the first half, one thing, second half, well, I don't know what happened, but yeah, Arsenal looked really good in that first half against Nottingham Forest. 2 goals in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That was an incredible, entertaining last, insanely open 10-15 minutes. But for the first 75 minutes of that game, all Arsenal. All Arsenal, all the time. And Bukayo Saka showed him, if you expect it to be any different, it's not going to be any different this year.
Saka had 15 goals in all competitions.
There's no way anyone beats that.
Completely. Saka, what a moment. Yeah. And so, Saka, goal of the month. Does Saka get more than 15 goals in all competitions this season?
Yeah.
For Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now he's going to have to. I think you're going to see that a lot. I'm not going to call him like an Arjen Robben or something, but he has that.
I like how you said.
We've seen that shot.
I like how you said.
We've seen that goal multiple times for him.
He has to.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate. He has to.
He does.
He is one of the leaders of that squad. And yes, Saka is in the same sentence in leaders with Declan Rice, Saliba. He is expected a lot.
But I will say, it was a lot closer than they left it for. It's kind of like that Sporting game last night.
It's true.
Right?
It's true.
I'm not going to say they almost failed and whatever. It was still pretty comfortable, but there are questions from this game because Arsenal will lose Urian Timber for the next couple months.
That's true.
And right then and there, you had your some center back depth, and you also had a left back that clearly was going to send Kieran Tierney packing. And now Kieran Tierney, who I think was rumored to have a move to Real Sociedad in line, is now likely not going to be leaving because they need that depth.
I'd still get Zinchenko starting at that left back role when it's the best team of Arsenal. But I agree. A lot of their points. And I said Saka had 15 goals in all competitions. It wasn't just him. It was Saka, Martinelli. And Gabriel Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
So they have to have a player step up big time in order to win.
And Odegaard had over 10 too. Right? So it's 4.
Yes. I think Odegaard in all competitions. I'm not sure, but with goals and assists, I think it was goals and assists both. I think they have double digits goals and assists both.
Yeah, it's a wonderfully deep team with that.
And Odegaard, of course, Odegaard. Yeah, Odegaard, Bruno, Kevin De Bruyne. That's a discussion, but no, Odegaard is the leader in this team too, captain, and he emulates what Arteta wants, and that's why he's going to be so good next season. But Champions League football.
It's going to test that depth.
Exactly.
For sure. And without Timber, that's really tough early on. Obviously, because there were early returns in from Timber, I would imagine most Gunner fans were very, very excited about what he was going to do moving forward. But now it's going to have to be next man up type of mentality. And got a shout out to Nottingham Forest because they did make it a game. In the end, they made it a game, and guess who it was? Matt Turner, I think he made some great saves, but I also think what showed was his limitation in distribution. He is not a distributor, and that might explain why they got David Raya.
You think David Raya is going to be a starter for Arsenal at the end of the season? Not now, because Ramsdale has got that spot. He's got more experience.
Yeah.
In terms of accurate passes,
I don't. I don't feel like that's how Raya operates. I don't know. I think Ramsdale is the type that he takes a kick in the butt or he takes competition personally.
You know the discussion of we can save it for a video, but let us know if you think this would be an interesting video. The early prediction of the goalkeeper for the World Cup of England is literally a chat.
It's wide
Pickford, Ramsdale, Pope, and then you have Trafford that is improving.
And then you have the fact that it's Southgate making the decision. That makes it incredibly different because it's not about being the best shot stopper. It's about being. So who's going to,
Pickford is not right now in pole position with Southgate, and for England, he is different.
Yeah, but last shout out to Forest.
They still lose Everton to Fulham.
That's true.
And Fulham is a team that many people have in the fight not to get relegated.
But one thing is for sure, Everton never loses because of Pickford. They generally just don't lose bigger because Pickford's there. So you have to give him credit for that. Kind of like Allison last season. I am not comparing Pickford to Allison. But
Everton missed so many chances. Calvert-Lewin, I don't know what happened to him in the last 2 years.
It's injuries.
But
before we move on from Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, I have to mention I loved seeing Anthony Elanga get his chance. Okay, I'm not going to call him one-dimensional, but he's not three-dimensional. He's like somewhere in between. Came off the bench, and he's the reason why Nottingham Forest actually made it in a game. He squared it. He ran them down, ran them ragging on that left wing there, and then crossed it across to Awaniwi and made that a game. So I hope we see the best of Elanga because it was never really going to come out at United.
Good shout, mate.
So,
that's a
yeah.
good shout. And Danilo and Scarpa. Come on, Danilo.
Yeah,
the same guy I saw at
should look
Palmeiras.
okay.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But recruitment, talking about recruitment, Nottingham Forest, I think they're trying to emulate Brighton.
Yeah.
Because Brighton right now, in the world of football, it's between Brighton and Benfica, in my opinion, and the best teams in the world in terms of recruitment and development of these players.
Yeah.
390 million or 89 million pounds selling all these players in one season.
Yeah.
And this Brighton team can be in the discussion of best Brighton team too.
Yeah.
Is this the best Brighton team? Is this a better team than last season? With a
Slow
Kudus.
your roll.
With a Kudus.
Oh, with a Kudus? Oh, maybe. I mean, but it's proof that it is the system and not the players in the system, right? It's the system. De Serbi clearly knows how he wants them to play. And notice that this was a midfield that wasn't necessarily next Wonderkid up.
Mm-hmm.
These were vets filling in for that, right?
agree.
You had Dahoud, who is playing his first competitive game for Brighton, and you had Pascal Gross, who has played multiple positions
Facts.
for Brighton. And if there is one thing that proves that it's the system and not the players in the system, it is what De Serbi has done with Pascal Gross and Solly March.
But those players have never left, though.
Well, true.
Since
They're
Potter,
so
though.
important.
And
to
they
what he
and
does.
that's the beauty of Brighton.
Yeah.
Lewis Stunk, Solly Marsh,
Yeah.
Pascal Grob. They're not players that the top six are we need them.
No.
That's the player that we're gonna spend 100 like I should.
They're your mainstays.
So Brighton, in terms of a project of 3-5 years, they're one of the most promising teams to stay in the top 10.
You went from Caicedo McAllister to Gross Dahoud. And from a quality perspective, you would expect that down. And Billy Gilmore, too.
But you're still behind them. You have Billy Gilmore. You have Buonanotte.
But
You
when
have
you have-
Adingra.
Yes.
Adingra has
Yes.
shown himself now to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like the player we saw at St. Gilles was now seeing him at Brighton in that offensive mid, having that importance too.
Right to dream proud, man.
Right
That
to
is
dream.
Just, you knew it was going to happen.
Yes.
I didn't expect it on the debut, but he was dangerous from the first whistle. And then on the other side, you've got Matoma.
Mm-hmm.
And Estupiñán had a great game. And that's why I put him in my... It was a really out of left
Go
field
see that
shout,
video when
but that's why I put him in my potential Premier League best 11 as kind of a dark horse to do that because he's going to do that all season. And him with Matoma, that's tough to handle.
Completely.
That
I
is
agree.
tough to handle.
No, again, Brighton, once again, top 10 guaranteed in our predictions, but...
Last thing I got to say, because who scored?
Evan
Latest.
Ferguson.
Evan Ferguson, Irish Wonderkid, scored a goal. And my goodness, he scored it in Fergie time. He scored it in injury time, scored it in Fergie time. And I just have to say,
That's a good one.
this is likely his last season in a Brighton shirt, is it not?
He's 18.
He's 18?
He extended
But he's 18 with goals under his belt. That's the thing.
in the Premier League, and he's going to be the star boy of Ireland. He can become the best Irish player ever.
Yeah. And what if he
Ever.
becomes the best Irish player scoring goals in Fergie time in front of Ferguson stand, the North Stand at Old Trafford?
This is just a mad thought I had right now. Imagine if Evan Ferguson
Yeah.
was the Harry Kane in 10, 15 years.
Okay.
And
For
he
Ireland.
breaks
Yeah.
the Premier League record of goals. An Irish kid, an Irishman, breaking the record of top goal scorer of the Premier League and beating Shearer.
That's
a bold prediction.
That's really looking down the.
But Evan
we'll
will have
see.
to go to the right club after Brighton.
Yep.
United got Hoyland. Maybe it's Chelsea. They're always going to Brighton. They don't have a striker. They have Nico Jackson. We have a lot of hope. Fofana, Armand Broja, hope too. But Ferguson playing more,
Yeah.
he can improve a lot more.
Last comment about Brighton that I
Yes.
have. Oh, well, there's two. I mean, João Pedro looked at home in his first Premier League again since he was much younger, playing for Watford. That was tough. But he won a penalty, converted it.
Mm-hmm.
But back to Adingra, okay, scoring on his debut.
Mm-hmm.
This is a thing that is happening right now. There is an Ivorian core, Côte d'Ivoire, right?
Mm-hmm.
A core of players that has to be brought to everyone's attention because Adingra is just one of them. We got to see another one of them live over the weekend, just recently playing for Sporting, Ousmane Diomande. On top of that, you've got Amad Diallo, you've got Hamed Traore, you've got Evan Ndicka, you've got Kosunu, you've got David Datra Fofana, Abakar Silla, Sonali Diomande. I can go on and on.
Mm-hmm.
This is a core
To be the best African team in a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see them do well at the next AFCON, and then I want to see them get that qualifying done.
But still Nigeria with Samuel Chukwueze and Osimhen forwards.
They are attack heavy, though.
Yeah,
they are attack heavy, and if you can teach them all to play wingback or something, then maybe we've got an issue. But yeah, you add that to the Kessié, you add that to Zaha, you add that to Sangare and Fofana, and Boga, who's now in, where's he at?
Sangare might be moving.
Boga's back in Lyon.
A lot of people saying, Sangare might be moving.
For PSV, but that Ivorian, I want to see them qualify for this 2026 World Cup.
And my
Bring
last
them
shout
back.
with the Premits. We saw the first game in a bar, Breton, and what did we see? Something that didn't shock us. Erling Haaland scoring 2 goals in 10 minutes?
A couple minutes.
I don't know how many minutes it was, but Erling Haaland scoring 2 goals in the first game against Burnley clearly states to the whole world, the Community Shield happened. Yes, Saliba got the best of me, but I'm going to get the best out of every single striker in the Premier League, and I'm going to become the top goal scorer once again. I fully believe he'll have more than 30, but if he breaks his own record of last season, he could. He could. I won't say he's got a better team right now still, but he knows the team better.
Yeah.
So Haaland De Bruyne duo will be a historic duo in the Premier League and one of the best. If City get the Champions League and the Premier League, Erling Haaland back to back getting that too, that's a Ballon d'Or itself to compete against Mbappe. And that's what he's trying to do.
Well,
it's the case.
And head up Vincent Kompany and Burnley.
He did.
Tough, obviously, first opener. They played well in parts, but I think they've got a lot of soul searching to do in the Premier League.
I agree.
It's almost a shame that he couldn't carbon copy his club in the Championship and just play them in the Premier League, because I feel like they would have handled this team a whole lot better. But Manchester City, hey, they didn't win 9-0. So there's that.
There's that, literally.
Last shout-out comes with the Wonderkid. Milos Kerkos looked pretty good for
debut.
Bournemouth. I think he's going to, by the end of the season, he's going to be considered one of the best young left-backs.
Who did Bournemouth sign?
Alex Scott.
Shook.
Championship Player of the Year, or Young Player of the Year.
That is an elite signing by Bournemouth, especially after getting Kerkes too. And if they get Fresneda,
It's Areola,
that'll be
man.
a bold trio.
People want to play for him, and I'm excited. I want to see Bournemouth do well.
Prem predictions,
Yeah.
because you went bold with Bournemouth. But leaving the Prem,
Yeah.
a lot happened too. And we have an Englishman. Not destroying, okay. He had a great debut. A debut that doesn't shock me or you.
No.
What do you think? Jude Bellingham.
Hey,
Inevitable debut goal?
Yeah, I mean, this midfield's unfair. Jude Bellingham is not supposed to just kind of slot into one of the most recognizable brands on the planet and one of the strongest teams on the planet and look like he's been there for 20 years. He's not supposed to do that. That's not how things work.
But Ancelotti,
did.
I want to say, Ancelotti has changed the style of play in a system that doesn't need Mbappe. I think Real Madrid does need Mbappe in order to win the Champions League.
Yeah, that's true.
But to do a good case in the Champions League with Jude Bellingham in the 10 role and Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo ahead of them, I believe Rodrigo is going to improve a lot more this season. Like we saw with Vinicius when he got to 22.
Sure.
That's what's going to happen now with Rodrigo. Now's the season transition, especially Rodrigo knows that Mbappe is coming. Yeah. Hendrik's coming. Yeah. Rodrigo has to step up in order to stay at Real Madrid. So now is his best season to do that. It is.
Yeah. Otherwise, you lose
competition.
That spot. Yeah.
Competition. Something they need in goalkeeper. And that's why, like, Courtois out for the full season. Eder Militão out 6 months. It's going to be Rudiger Alaba. Okay, they have a good substitute. Yep. But Kepa, that is a budget signing for Real Madrid. I fully expected Diogo Costa at least to be getting talks with Real Madrid. He would have changed this whole vibe towards the future of Real Madrid. And go to Bayern. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, at least with the Rudiger Alaba partnership, we're going to get our fair share of 40-yard shots skying out into the tops of the Bernabeu.
But
so I'm excited
Alaba
for that
assist, though, to Jude Bellingham.
No.
First touch goal from Bellingham, too.
No, it'll be good to see Rudiger back into the mix because, but Militao, that just, he's only, 25, 26?
Yes. He's still in the under 27 talk, yeah.
But he does rely a lot on his mobility.
Facts.
And you never know how people recover from these things. And to lose Courtois and then lose one of your best center backs, that is enough to put a question mark. I don't care how deep your team is. That's enough to put a question mark on anybody.
I fully agree when Ancelotti says Eder Militão could be the best center back in the world if like his biggest flaw is his focus.
Right.
He has the focus on the pitch. Yeah, if he had the Rudiger focus in the Champions League on Haaland, Militão would be the best player in the world. But
a lot of injuries, man.
2-0 win to Bilbao. It's a good start for them. So let's wait and see if Mbappe happens. But something happened, and it still didn't change the outcome. What was it? The Super Cup.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Kane is going to arrive. Kane's going to sign on the day. Kane is going to get a trophy. What?
No.
Look, I'm not going to say that Bayern are going to lose the Bundesliga next season with this, but I'm surely going to say RB Leipzig are going to finish second, I think. That's the case I'm going to do after that Super Cup. They looked so much better, RB Leipzig. Yeah. Like, I was shook. Yeah. Seifeld playing a key role.
It's true.
Simakan better.
Openda is
Shesko on a bench?
Yeah.
That is a luxury. This is
a luxury.
Red Bull Leipzig right now on the bench have Benjamin Shesko.
Yeah.
He would start for so many top European teams right now. It's a luxury to do that and have Openda that is the striker that was in the team of the season of Liga.
They've got more cash to burn too. They just spent 30 million on Castelo Luqueba, which he'll take a little while to come on back up, but he could wind up being like a Upamecano. He could be. I mean, he'll be. I can pretty much guarantee he'll be sold off for at least double.
They're expecting Luqueba to be better because Upamecano left for 40.
I think he has a higher ceiling, that's for sure.
And I agree with you.
And I think they know what they're doing.
I agree.
There's one thing Leipzig. It seems that they know what they're doing. They hit a whole lot more than they miss.
No,
that's
but they have Simakan and Orban captain two at the back. Luqueba's going to learn from that. But, doesn't even need to start Luqueba right now.
No Gavardiol.
David Ron.
No Soboslai. No Nkunku. No problem. Team. They win 3-0. And Dani Olmo.
Yes.
Dani Olmo loves the Super Cup. He scored a goal and an assist last season. They got crushed because they gave up 5 goals to Bayern. And them winning it last season, and Bayern struggled as much as they did. Who knows what this outcome will actually entail. But when it comes down to it, Dani Olmo has had issues with injuries. When he stays healthy, when he's healthy for his longest and he gets into the rhythm, he's a very dangerous player.
Completely
We've seen it for Spain from time to time. What we haven't seen is consistency from Dani Olmo. And this is the season where if you're going to, get that freedom to be an Nkunku, right, or work with Openda and be double Nkunku, whatever you want to call it, this is the season to do it. So Olmo is 25 still, and I think we're going to see a whole lot more from him.
You know why I think we're going to see the best Dani Olmo? He's got big competition now. And I know Szoboszlai was elite, a lot of times injured, but now he's got a Fabio Carvalho that wants to prove himself for Liverpool, and he has a Xavi Simons that wants to prove himself in a PSG squad that will be a Champions League contender, I believe, next season if Mbappe stays in
Kids just winning trophies. I think Harry Kane wanted to go over and steal it from him.
And that's the thing, too, with Xavi Simons. Yeah. Xavi Simons' career choices, like, I was hating on him going to PSG. But ever since he realized that he had to go to the Eredivisie, he's always going up in up trajectory, and he's only going to get better. More than 20 goal involvements last season, and if Xavi Simons gets more than 20 goal involvements in the Bundesliga at the age of 19-20, that is a huge impact. And
PSG is going to give him the keys to Paris next. Is that what's going to happen? No.
Definitely give him importance. That's what they'll do.
Yeah,
definitely give him importance.
The rest of the action in Germany right now is almost laughable because it's DFB Pokal and it's 9-0, 8-0, 7-0. So this is the first real window into two favorites. And I got to admit, I thought Leipzig was going to take a whole lot longer to gel, especially against a team that rolled out as strong as Bayern did. So, this is going to be a fun season. Maybe it's going to be closer. We keep talking about Serie A as being the closest race. Maybe the Bundesliga is going to be a whole lot closer.
I disagree, though. I think the Bundesliga, Kane made it simple for me.
He's still got no trophy.
Kane being the best replacement possible for Lewandowski in my eyes. Lewandowski, a player I have here. Lewandowski at Bayern had 344 games, and he left with 375 goals. So more goals than games. Oh. If Kane's going to replicate that, he's a legend of Bayern Munich next to Müller, Lewandowski, and Gerard Müller too. Yeah. 3 big names. Thomas Müller too. Like, he's got 625 games, mad amount, and 227 goals. elite. And now is the Musiala Kane era, like you said.
Yeah, Musiala was not.
Wasn't too great, but
No.
like that happens.
Still young.
That happens. Still young,
Well,
exactly.
Yeah. All right.
So what on the I wanted to talk to you about this because I've been pretty surprised by what's happening in the States right now.
I know, and I'm here.
I didn't know about this competition, the League's Cup,
Yeah.
and as it seems, what's gonna happen, Brendan?
Well, okay, Leagues Cup. If you haven't seen our primer on it and whatever, go back and search Leagues Cup. You can get caught up. But we are into the semifinals now.
Yes.
And basically, it's a knockdown, drag-out fight between Liga MX, Mexican teams, and MLS. They shut down both leagues for a whole season, a whole month.
Yes.
And we are now down to 4. And Inter Miami signed Lionel Messi at the beginning stages of Leagues Cup. They are the worst team in Major League Soccer right now, but they are they're definitely the favorites to win the Leagues Cup. So it's amazing what, the best player in the world can likely do for you.
And Busquets. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Busquets has only played in his career for Barca or Spain.
Yeah.
Now he's played for Inter Miami, and we fully see that Busquets improves everyone around him.
He does.
Those Inter Miami players do not look like they used to.
Yeah.
Much better positioning and much better style of play because of Busquets too.
And listen, if you're coming to this for the first time and
And
you've
Alba.
never listened to our podcasts,
Yes.
you will. I am from Philadelphia. The 4 teams left in the Leagues Cup. You've got Nashville versus which
You
are
will be
great,
there.
great fan
Find
base.
Breton.
I will.
Find
Yeah.
Breton and put on Twitter.
It'll
like,
be
tag us.
Nashville versus Monterrey, the only last Mexican team. It's been a dismal showing for Mexican teams, much to the point that many head coaches of Mexican teams are coming out and saying, well, we didn't like the conditions. We didn't like the hotels that we were in. They didn't like losing,
Excuses
is what they didn't
made.
like. And maybe it'll be in Mexico next year, but anywhere you go, anywhere, or in a lot of places in the United States, you will actually see Mexican fans have more support than the MLS teams. Now, that's
But
one side
Tata
of the
Martino
bracket.
did say that the Mexican Federation accepted the terms.
Oh, of course.
So
Yeah, they didn't just say, like, hey, do you guys want to come along and we're not going to tell you what's
we're
going to happen?
unfairly going to play against you guys, but we'll do it. No,
Exactly.
that didn't happen.
So you got Nashville, Monterrey. I'm going to say Monterrey is going to go through because, you got to build that drama. Nashville looks good, though. They crushed Minnesota
Mukhtar.
5-zip. On my side, on our side, on the eastern side, you've got Inter Miami and Lionel Messi traveling to the higher seed, which is my squad. It's the Philadelphia Union.
The best defense
One
in
of
the
the best
MLS.
defenses, definitely the best defense over the last few years in MLS. But it is still a defense that is not Rudiger, Militao, and yeah. So it is a defense that is built on knowing where you are, knowing your position. We are
They're gonna
coached by
get
a former
destroyed by Messi.
center back. Hey, get out of here. Listen, but how awesome would it be if it was Philadelphia? And Alex is right. I was going to say this myself. I will be in attendance. I want to see you there. I want to, say hi to you, something. Because this is unprecedented, at least for where I'm from.
Completely.
Messi has not necessarily been to Philadelphia with a full-strength team or with an MLS team, of course, and they are coming to a smaller stadium. It's 20,000, right on the banks of the Delaware River,
And you have grass pitch.
and we have a beautiful grass pitch. And
Messi loves that.
Messi, well, then we're installing the AstroTurf right now. Nah, just kidding.
No, he will not play if that's the case.
Of course he
and
will
Leagues
not
Cup
play.
cannot afford that.
But from a financial standpoint, I can tell you it has affected me personally.
Oh.
Because the market, and this is very new, this is very foreign to
wanna
us
listen to
MLS
this.
fans. The ticket market price, the secondary market, which is the resale, right? Those that aren't season ticket holders and everything, the average price is above $400 to get in. Normally, I can get in for about $50 for a very, very, very,
Good game.
very nice seat. Okay? So that, I believe, as we get closer, is only going to go up.
So it's a
And-
$350 difference from what it was
Yeah.
to now what it is
Yeah,
because of
8
Lionel
times.
Messi.
8 times.
That
so,
is the Messi effect.
Tiny amount of tickets that are made available, and,
And
it's
it's
not
the
a 20.
Leagues Cup. Do you think like an MLS final will cost like?
Well, I thought the script was in. It has to be Mexico versus USA, which means that Philadelphia is likely going to lose, and it's going to be Inter Miami versus Monterrey.
Oh.
And I don't want to root against my
No,
team, but Inter Miami is playing really well. What they have not been tested with right now is a very potent offense all across the board. Carranza, Gazdag, Ura's not playing so hot. they will make this an interesting game because that defense is not good.
It's only Alba,
It's not
literally.
good.
It's only Alba, literally,
Yeah.
at the left
Kamal
back.
Miller's okay, but yeah.
And the thing with Messi, too, I just want to add, it's Messi scored a goal in his last game, but before that, in his last 3 games,
Oh, yeah.
he had back-to-back-to-back-to-back braces.
Yeah, 7 and 4. Yeah.
Right now. So he clearly has figured out
Yeah.
how to play in the MLS. And he's gonna,
Yeah.
I think, destroy any team in the MLS.
The only caveat I'm going to throw in there, just to give my guys a shot. I want to hear a dupe at some point. That's what we say when we score a goal. The Union are the best top to bottom team that Miami will have played so far. So,
Mate, you said that about Dallas.
no, they didn't play Dallas. Or they did play
They
Dallas.
did.
Yeah.
And it was 4-4.
It
And
was.
Messi scored
It
a goal
was.
in the last minute. And
was.
it was the
Yeah,
toughest.
it
It
was.
was the toughest game of Messi there.
And Dallas, for some reason, forgot how to park the dang bus. I don't really understand what happened. Or that's the thing.
The free
is
kick, mate.
You have to be. It has to be a boxing match if you want to get Messi out of his sorts in any way, shape, or
You
form.
have
As
to
if
be
I know
aggressive.
how to stop
no,
Messi.
No one
Right.
can stop Messi. But the way you stop him is
Yeah.
by aggressive play. And that's what Mourinho did back in the day.
Well, Messi is going to meet Jose Martinez. And Jose Martinez is likely going to have a very, very tough day. But if there's one thing I know Martinez will do, he will make it really annoying for Messi. So we'll see if that actually works. Something tells me it won't.
But tell us your predictions down below for the League's Cup. Do you think Philly is going to shock the world? Or Messi just going to get it done and go to the final? Like,
It'd be poetic. It'd be sure. But to be
Who win
honest, the MLS season then starts up right after this.
Oh.
And then the bigger storyline happens.
Mhm.
And that's whether or not Messi can take them from bottom of Major League Soccer to the top.
bottom favorite. They were like the team with less odds to eat. They were
Yeah.
the favorites to end last
Yeah.
in the MLS
There's
before.
not a lot of games left either. There's like 12 or 13 games, I think. I haven't
But
looked at
we
the
all know
standings. But
Messi
yeah.
ain't going to play badly.
One last shout out.
Mm-hmm.
What I've been most impressed with is not Messi. It's not Busquets. He has been amazing.
No.
It's not Jordi Alba.
Martino.
It's actually Benjamin Kremaski.
Sorry.
18-year-old Argentinian/American. We're hoping we can pry him away. Midfielder, plays right alongside Messi. This is a kid. He's big frame for an 18-year-old. This is a kid that is considered the crown jewel of Miami's academy. He's already been called up by the Argentinian youth international team. And if there's one thing that you know that happens when somebody plays with Messi, you either step it up like Robert Taylor and play like the best football you've ever played in your entire life, or you fold. And you don't do well. And
true.
you eventually get subbed out. Well, guess who has come through as one of the better confidants to Lionel Messi's arrival in MLS? It has been Benja Kremaski. So listen, hear his name, watch him play. He is phenomenal on the
And
ball.
there's a really good fullback too at Inter Miami, U.S. men's national team, I think.
Yedlin.
Now with Walsh, now with Alba there.
With Alba. Well, Yedlin's on the right. On the left, you had previous to that.
Yes,
I
Noah.
forget his name. Noah Allen.
Noah Allen.
No, is that the one? The one that tore the ACL is who you're talking about. He
Okay.
tore his ACL in one of the games. And actually, at the end of that game, Lionel Messi held up his why can't I remember
His
his name?
jersey.
Because Noah Allen
Good
is a
look up.
center back and left back. But the kid's name that I'm forgetting right now, Messi held up his jersey at the end of the game when they took the picture.
That's a great moment.
It is a great
That's a
moment
great
because it
moment.
shows you he cares about the team. He cares about the kids on up to the top, and it's just a great thing. MLS is in a new stage, is in a new time, and one where apparently I'm going to have to part with a few more dollars if I want to continue to watch this.
Don't forget to like this video too and go bold, just like the MLS did by getting Lionel Messi. So, but another one that is quite bold and another hemisphere, another place in the whole globe. It's Cristiano Ronaldo once again showed his clutch gene, and he scored a brace in the final against Al-Hilal that everyone expected Al-Hilal to win, especially when they had one player sent out, Al-Nassr. Who arrived? Cristiano Ronaldo. That he still does what he does best. And I'm going to say this. You see, if I'm moving my chair.
Yeah, he's getting serious, folks.
It's really incorrect right now to say that Ronaldo. It's really incorrect right now to say that Cristiano Ronaldo couldn't play in Europe. I wouldn't say he's a top 5 striker currently, but he could be in the top 10 talk. top 10 talk, and he is a finisher with experience, and he's clearly elevating Al Nassr right now, and they got a great team. Brozovic, Sadio Mane, Alex Telles, Fofana.
Yeah.
I'm starting to have the need and the curiosity to watch these games.
Yeah.
So things are changing.
Well, that is true. And the season starts shortly. I think the 23rd is what I saw. Okay, so that is important to understand because the team that they beat is the most successful team and the favorites to win the Super League. And I know the rosters have changed.
If they get Neymar.
Massively.
Malcolm Neymar. Midfield with Ruben Neves, Milinkovic, Savic. That is ridiculous.
But they have also won. Al-Hilal have won the AFC Champions League most times.
They're the winners. The last winners.
And you're right. They're the defending champs. So it wasn't just Al-Shabaab or one of the other ones, right? It is one of the ones with a reworked roster. And we're going to see a lot of that. I mean, every game is going to be incredibly important.
I really believe Fofana is stepping up at Al Nassr even more. I think Fofana never got used to this big club mentality thing. And for him, Fofana was seen as the player. Yeah. And a lot of people would say, outside of Ligue 1 fans, he's a great player, you should look out. Now, Sekou Fofana is one of the most discussed midfielders in the world of football, maybe, because everybody's seen the Ronaldo goal. That went to the post, and then Ronaldo did the header. Who did that? Fofana. So everything's changing, and that's the Ronaldo effect that does bring more players to come to the Saudi Pro League.
Yeah.
So right now, Al-Hilal George Jesus got surprised.
but you know who also got surprised?
Tell me.
Ronaldo. Because Ronaldo was the top scorer, but he did not win Best Player. And there is a wonderful video of him finding out that he did not win Best Player.
Mate, how don't you give the Best Player award to the player that scored a clutch goal in extra time?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm like, I would have...
It was, you know who it was?
Who was?
Milinkovic-Savic.
Of Al-Hilal. Oh, my... Yeah. He still got that... They did Ronaldo bad with that trophy, man. They did Ronaldo bad. I'm sure Ronaldo didn't want a trophy that just looked like the World Cup.
It looked like I was supposed to make this. I mean, what the heck are you thinking?
That's like...
Do they not have better designers?
Did it wrong. They did him wrong, man.
They did. It, also because that's meme. That's memeable.
Memeable. It
always
memeable.
Feels so weird to me to use that.
It's
but it really is because yes, what's the one thing that Ronaldo does not have? I know. I hate bringing this up, but what is the one thing he doesn't have? The other thing I'm noticing here.
We've never had it to Portugal. We've never won it to, and we had never won the Euros. And we did with Ronaldo.
And Portugal is much better as a whole. Having
with
had
Ronaldo,
influence. Period.
Exactly.
Right. I'm there with you.
You were here.
I was, and I told you I might not leave.
And you see those jerseys, like a lot of people were wearing that new jersey of Cristiano Ronaldo's sponsor, not sponsor, but that collab Ronaldo and Sporting.
Well, and then I had to share with you while we're walking around the stadium. I had to share with you this sad realization that at any football or soccer game in the States, you get people wearing Tom Brady jerseys. You get people wearing a Chelsea jersey to a Philadelphia Union game. You just don't see that here. It's life or death. And if it's not life or death,
with a Benfica jersey to a Sporting game.
No. Although
100%.
how much
I wouldn't
would
do
I have
that.
to give you? You never do it?
In the wrong places, I would 100% never do that.
We almost had our cameraman Lukian do it. I said $250, right? $250?
Oh, mate. No.
What would it take you? I'm going to ask you comment-wise. What would it take you? Would you ever do it? To wear a Sporting shirt at a Benfica game or vice versa? What amount of money would it take?
Or a Benfica in a Porto stadium, mate. That would be massacre. Yeah. I can't even imagine.
That'd be Cowboys Eagles on our side of the pond.
But yeah, that's the effect Ronaldo has had. And in the Saudi Pro League, he's changing things too. But people, let us know what you think about all the Saudi Pro League. And will Al Nassr win it? Like early predictions. But we wanted now, we're FC Wonderkid. And now in this podcast, we want to focus a lot more on the young players.
Yep.
Because that's why you guys are here listening. You want to know the players that that haven't still been noticed by, let's say, the top scouts, things like that.
Yep.
And we thought it was a really good idea to do a first video now with 5 Wonderkids that are destined for a move this summer or next or the winter, whatever. But we expect them improving and going somewhere else. So, and tell us yours in the comments section, and like this video for more content just like this.
Absolutely. Well, you want to start with the first one, or should I?
I'll start with my first one. My
Okay.
first one is someone that, if you listen to the FC Wonderkid podcast, I think you'll know him. It's Gift Orban. Gift Orban.
Hey, Train.
Hi, Train.
Hello, Train.
Gift Orban, in 6 months, the hype train is real.
Yeah.
He's
That's real. That's not CGI.
he scored 3 goals and became the player that had the fastest hat-trick ever in UEFA competitions. And that happens why? Because he's fast scoring goals. He's fast and pacey inside the games. And honestly, he's fast tracking towards becoming a top striker
Yeah.
in Europe.
Yeah.
I fully believe a team like Tottenham should get him.
There it is.
I see their interest.
Yep.
I would get Gift Orban and Taremi if I was Tottenham to replace Kane.
Mm-hmm.
But people, just remember this name. Gift Orban is the future in striker position.
I'd have to agree with that. 25 goals in 25 games since he's arrived, and he hasn't really slowed down once. He's already got a bunch to start the year. So mine is Ernest Nuama.
Okay.
I love the right to dream. If you've heard it previously, I
Yes.
will say it again and again, and I'll probably not stop saying it. But Nuama is the newest in the line. Mohamed Kudus. You have Simon Adingra, both of which might wind up being teammates at Brighton after getting their first start at FC Nordsjælland. And Nuama is a left winger, and he's already got a bunch of goals this season, 4 goals in 3 Super League games, and it's not stopping. He's fast, he's technical, but even more importantly, he does not shy away from defensive capabilities. He will press like no other. My guess is that it'd be very, very dumb to let him be in the Super League in another year. I think by the winter, he'll likely find another team.
That's a bold
Easily.
prediction.
Eredivisie
And great player. A great player.
Calling. Or Brighton calling.
Or Portuguese league, you never know. Nordsjælland.
Well, they should get in on the
sell
fun. They should
André
get in.
Scheldrup.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
But
that's
let's
true.
wait
That's
and
true.
see. Yeah.
And for people that don't know, Scheldrup came from FC Nordsjælland, not part of the right to dream, but he is.
He's got that right to dream, and he's dreaming a bit. I'm gonna go a bit South America on this. Gift Orban is quite iconic, I'd say, in the Belgian Pro League, but there's a player quite iconic too, not just because of himself, but because of his father too. Federico Redondo. If you might know, his father was a legend at Real Madrid, a player that makes things look simple. That's what he does.
Yep.
And his son, I think he looks a lot like his father too. He's a CDM, Federico Redondo, one of the best Argentinian prospects out there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I fully believe he might go this summer, but definitely by winter, we will know where Redondo plays in Europe. And whoever gets him, they get one of the best CDM talents to get at an affordable price.
Yeah, absolutely shocked. He has not been snapped up yet.
Exactly.
Absolutely shocked.
We're
Such
doing
a
the
tidy
jobs as
player.
scouts for the top teams. Come
Yeah,
on,
Get
man.
out there. I don't even think it would cost that much to get
I think
him
it'd be
right.
like 10 to 15, definitely. You can get him. And with the first touch that he has, and this is the thing, you don't see too many CDMs that are so good with their first touch and technique. Federico Redondo has that. And that's why I just see it so much as a necessity. I think Benfica should have go and get him maybe. Because if Florentino's not playing, and Joe Neves and Koksu, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Redondo is great.
Yeah.
Exquisite, and watch out.
Well, I don't want to cheat, but like, if we're going to talk Argentinian, I could almost say Prestiani because the deal is not done.
Officially,
it's
but
not
Fabrizio
done.
said,
but
here
I
we
just
go.
realized he did say, which is as good as gold.
As it seems
But
to.
Prestiani, man, I was just thinking, learning from Di Maria, that would be absolutely huge. But that move's already
But
solid.
Di Maria, I think it's going to be maybe 1 year or 2. Let's see.
Okay.
But Prestiani learning from Di
and
Maria.
Sheldrick learning from
And
him. But
we say
Argentinian,
that's
yeah.
another player destined for a move, and we think he's a Benfica. But imagine, like, Prestiani, in terms of dribbling, we put him in the top category in the world of football right
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd say he's probably I'd say he is the best young dribbler on the planet. It's just
now.
how
Like
young is young.
under 18.
Under 19, we'll call it.
Okay.
Under 19.
Under 19 is bold, man.
Under 19 is bold. We'd actually have to look at the list because off the top of my head, I can't. My brain is foggy.
I'm thinking Hendrik, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that kid, when
Prestiani,
he...
though.
But Endrick is
attached to his foot.
a train once he gets to that. But
well, speaking of a train, that actually is not a good segue for me at all. But I'm going to say Karim Konate, 19-year-old. If you've listened to us for a long period of time, you know that I have a special, spot in my heart for RB Salzburg, their scouting department. I mean, so do you. You talk about them quite frequently. Konate is the next in line. He is another part of that Ivorian, just so many good young stars coming up. He's already got 6 goal involvements in 3 games to start the year. And he is that next man up. You know, with Salzburg, there's always that next man up mentality. Why? Because they sell the striker in front of the next striker,
exactly.
Right? So you do have Roko Simic, who's getting his chances, but Karim Konate, I mean, you can just see already that he has the profile that will get snapped up, Ligue 1 or Bundesliga.
I could see Ligue 1 definitely for Karim Konate. And the strikers that you're mentioning, Karim Konate is replacing Šeško. Šeško's replacing Haaland. The recruitment, once again, Red Bull Salzburg,
like elite.
The only thing Red Bull Salzburg loses compared to a team like Benfica is their own league. The Austrian league is very poor in competition. It doesn't have the history of the Portuguese league and others. Yeah. So
I think they're 10 in a row now, 11 in a row, something like that.
They're going to dominate for the next 3 years. If let's see, if someone grabs a team from Austria and makes it simple.
Adeyemi was the other one.
Imagine Prime. Imagine Prime gets a team and goes against Red Bull Salzburg in the Austrian league. It becomes the
Still never had one.
The drinks league.
Yeah. What do they cost now? Like 250 euros?
I don't know, but Prime sponsoring Bayern Munich, Barca, Arsenal, like they ain't stopping as it seems to. My days. But more players that they're destined for a move. Do you have any more, Brett?
I do. I've got 2.
Okay.
All right. I'll keep them quick because I know we're running long here. But Giorgio Scalvini, you probably know the name. You've heard of him. He is, a modern center back. I mean, one of those ones that he's big. He's solid in the air. Very solid in the air. But at the same time, he knows how to distribute. He's comfortable in tight situations back. He's just a very, very good connector for Atalanta. It has to be his last season in an Atalanta shirt. He's along Okoli. I forget who the other one is in their back 3 because they play with 3 center backs, if I'm not mistaken.
They play Demiral.
Demiral, that's who it is. He's got 50 Serie A appearances already.
Demiral is still young.
At 19.
At Turkey. Sorry. No, Scalvini definitely. Scalvini is... I could put Antonio Silva in this conversation too. Yeah. I think Antonio Silva is ahead of Scalvini. But Scalvini is definitely one of the best young center backs for any top team to go grab. I think Tottenham should be eyeing more of a Bastoni. But if they can convince a Bastoni, they should definitely eye up a Scalvini. That is at Atalanta. And will want to move like Rasmus Winterhoyland did.
Yeah.
I'll have a shout with a player that I just know. With Benfica, you just know some players. And this player, he's going to be in a big team. Really not. I don't hope it's not soon. I hope he stays more years at Benfica because
you want Benfica to be the big team.
No. I want to have the chance to see this kid live. Because if he's in another city, I have to move out of Lisbon maybe. But like João Neves has just extended his contract, release clause of 120 million, and people at home, teams will be breaking that release clause if he continues like this. The kid is one of the best young midfielders under 20 on the planet right now, and Kokshu and João Neves, without João Neves, they wouldn't look as good as they did. If it was Florentino and João Neves, I still think they could win. But without João Neves, if it was Florentino and Kokshu, I have doubts. Yeah. So what does that say? I say that João Neves is the starter at Benfica at 18, or deserves that spot at all times.
Another quick come up, man. Quick come up that happens.
The intensity.
He's a little pit bull. He's fun to watch.
But he's so intense. Yeah. He's not huge in stature.
He's tiny, actually.
If you compare to Milinkovic Savic,
I just said I was 5'7". I'm definitely not 5'7".
If we compare him to Milinkovic Savic, he is. Yeah. But João Neves, in terms of the intensity in duels, in terms of the way he plays, the way he looks forward, he's a great, great player at 18. And whoever whoever gets him after Benfica, and they surround him in the right system, not like happened to João Felix, they'll be getting a great player. Because Seychelles Academy is a proven academy when the players go to the right team. If Felix would have gone to City or Barca immediately and not Atletico, it would have been different. Maybe like Ruben Dias at City.
Yeah.
The right fit at the right time. That was it.
Yeah, it was.
I wanted to say that.
Yeah,
Jonev
that's good.
people, please
That's good.
remember.
Well, it's.
Will I add? Look, I'll
do you
add.
have another? You got one more?
And I'll add just another statement on the
Okay.
kid. I think Jonev, I think I'll see him in the Euros.
That's impressive.
I think I'll see him at the Euros, Jonev.
That's I mean, it is
Next
season,
summer.
Next summer. Okay.
He has a full season. I think he's going to impress big time this season at Benfica.
Because it's not just you that's catching on. I mean, the world is starting to catch up to João Neves.
They should.
They are.
They
yeah.
should.
But you have been talking about him for a very long time.
Like 6 months now, yeah.
And I can't get him to shut up about it. You know. It's kind of annoying. Actually.
You'll trust me, man. When you see him play, you'll love it.
I know.
Just like
I
Enzo
know.
at that time when
I
you
have
did.
gotten to see him play, but only. This is another thing I have an issue
You
with.
have to say it, yeah.
Primera Liga, man. Someone in the U.S. buy the rights, whatever it takes. I have no ability to watch Primera Liga except when they're in the Champions League.
so
Those
bad.
teams, or illegally, which I don't do.
How many Benfica fans are in the States sporting Porto? Like, there's a huge influence, a huge Portuguese community in the States.
In the tri-state area, for
Like,
sure.
definitely.
Up near New York.
Come on, people.
It's
Oh.
massive. So
I'll be putting
anyone,
this on TikTok. Don't worry, mate. Like, come on.
Anyone out there that's got a few, I don't know, $100 million, whatever it would cost. I have no clue what it would cost.
No.
Just buy the dang rights.
Just get it.
Or get it back. It
Apple
used to be on
TV.
Gold TV, I think.
Apple
back in the-
TV, get
Apple
MLS
TV
with
might.
Primera Liga. You get the best of both worlds,
Careful
maybe.
what you ask for, because I bet you Apple, this MLS deal's working out so well, I bet you they're going to go snapping up everything. Because the thing about Apple TV is it's a streaming platform.
It starts like that.
You can get it anywhere. I can watch, there's no, when I go to look at MLS highlights, there's no, you cannot find
Just
this in
need
its
to put a
location.
username
It's
and
everywhere.
password.
It's
I
it.
get you.
It's
I-
beautiful.
that's
It's beautiful.
that's
So
a smart
yes,
thing.
Apple, buy Premier League rights.
The Premier
Done.
League maybe should do that.
And I want a finder's fee. My last one is, I don't know if it was 5. I kind of mentioned
Think we-
Cristiano,
5-5,
but
yeah.
I'll just do one more. I'll do Jorel Hato, who is the Ajax center back who technically has replaced Jurriën Timber, but he actually looked good in their opener. Now, their opener was
and
against
Calvin
Heracles.
Bassey.
Kelvin, well, yeah, he's back in the at Fulham.
That's 2 center backs.
He did not look good, though.
Hopefully they're getting Sutalu, but
Yeah.
That's-
Well, hopefully Hato does so well. The only reason he is equated to Timber is the fact of his versatility. He can play on the left.
is he Dutch too?
He's Dutch. Yep. He's brought through the academy. I think he's only 18, so he's young. But he actually broke in a little bit last season, near
wanna
the end
see
of the
more on him.
season. And fullback, center back. Okay, we said hi to the train. Now we're saying hi to the plane. And he's one you got to watch because Ajax, I think, is headed for a tough season. I don't think they're going to be contenders this year, although it's really hard to always never call Ajax a contender. So that's probably me eating crow sandwich later. But when it comes down to it, Hato is going to be a big, big part because it seems like they're getting ready to rebuild, or Ajax is getting ready to really rely on their youth academies.
Well, or buying like Brighton does, like Benfica does, relying on academy
Nice.
and recruitment by they getting Carlos Borges, that was 19 million, and I thought he was going to West Ham, and they went bold
And
with
why
that
not?
signing. That's a great shout. My
Yeah.
last shout on the 5 Wonderkids that are destined for a move is the bust.
Yeah.
Just like
The
we saw
Bast.
Gvardiol growing in importance for his national team with Croatia, the Bast is growing in a team that after Vertonghen and Vermaelen,
Yeah.
they looked horrendous. Denier was starting for Belgium. A team that was top 3 in the FIFA World Ranking, number 1
Yeah.
at a given moment. They needed center backs, and De Bast is the answer. Remember this name, De Bast. He's destined for a big move. I'll be surprised if he stays in the Belgian Pro League another season.
Yeah.
After this one.
I mean, I think the Belgian future is starting to show itself, slowly uncover. Vermeeren,
Bakayoko.
but they need more.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
need more.
completely.
Yeah.
If
And-
you compare the Belgian future with the Portuguese, the Brazilian, the English,
Yeah.
the French,
It's different.
it is.
And that's another day. We're going to rank those youth. Youths.
Oh yeah, we should.
We'll
And
do
tell us down below your 5 Wonderkids that are destined for a move, players that we didn't mention in this video.
Yeah.
We want to see your ball knowledge, and we will for sure answer that comment.
Yeah.
We won't forget you. Don't worry. So another one here is we're going deeper. It's 5 you don't know Wonderkids.
Yeah.
And if you know him, it's not bad. But we're hoping that 90% of the people watching this video do not know these players. And I'll start here with a Porto player.
Go for it.
Martin Fernandes, right back that I was fully impressed watching him for the under-17s in the Euros for Portugal, and then for the under-19s because he was so good. This is a player that I fully expect to see a lot more games of him in Porto B, and it always starts like that with Diogo Leite, with Diogo Costa. They always go with a lot of games in Porto B. 2 seasons they played, and they go to the first team, and they establish themselves in that first team. Remember, Martin Fernandes, right back of Porto. That's my first player.
Martin
Fernandes.
I just have to
It's like Bruno Fernandes.
But
Martin
now
Fernandes.
I'm starting to say
He'll
like
be that
It's
guy.
hysterical.
And it's Nuno Mendes at the left, Martin Fernandes at the right
Well,
one day.
It was funny. We were talking to a couple Portuguese fans of Sporting, and there I am catching myself saying Martin Fernandes.
Me. I just
Nuno
wanted
Mendes.
to say, I know he's not a Wonderkid, but a Sporting fan told you that guy was the best player. Mate, he was trolling. He's so
He's listening
bad.
to this right now. So,
Oh my days, man! You trolled him.
Well, I didn't fall for it necessarily. I didn't fall for
You
it
didn't. No,
necessarily.
you didn't. You
But
didn't. He
no,
didn't even start that game.
We had a great conversation. Zhao, I
Yeah.
think was his name, and I think I just said his name wrong.
Yeah, no,
Zhao.
yeah, you
Zhao.
did. João.
Okay. All right. Well, we had mentioned previous to Martin Fernandes that Belgian future is starting to show itself. And next to the Bast, who you mentioned, right? Next to the Bast, I'm going to mention that there's another center back that's coming through for Club Brugge, 18-year-old Jorn Speliers. He's big.
Bold.
He's big. He's wiry. He's wiry also is skinny. So he's got to grow into his body, but very, very, very solid with his feet.
Okay.
And Club Brugge is a very good place. Obviously, they've won multiple titles in the past few years. So he's somehow broken into that. They lost last season to Royal Antwerp. But moving forward, anytime an 18-year-old comes in, forces his way into a team as quality as Club Brugge, you've got to stand up and listen. It's
That's
not
true.
injury-wise.
I agree.
You've got to stand up and listen. He's also keeping other young center backs like Joel Ordonez on the bench. So Jorn Speliers, if you don't know his name, what they really like about him is actually at 18 years old, his IQ is better than most of the vets. He knows what to do situationally, and you can't teach that. Generally, early on.
That's you. You're talking him big time.
Yeah,
Big
I
IQ.
like him. Huge.
Okay, I'll come here with a player that I'm not going to say 90% of people do not know him, but if you follow Brasileirão, you know.
Okay.
This is a player that is at Palmeiras too, not named Hendrik. It's William Estevão. And this kid, I'm going to say this right now, he has the potential of being one of the best wingers in the world right now. Okay. His nickname is Messinho.
That's what his real name is.
The dribbling of this kid is insane. Yeah. And I guarantee you, after Hendrik, William Estevão is the next big sale of Palmeiras.
Okay.
I'm going to say it right now, with Abel, he's going to improve big time. And remember this name. In terms of dribbling, in terms of finishing at a youth academy level, because it's different. You have more time to think. You have more time to do the right thing and easier opposition defending you. He just impresses big time.
How old is he?
I think he's 16, 17. So he's definitely one of those ages.
Palmeiras creates, the world takes.
And even Gabriel Veron. Imagine a world of Gabriel Veron without injuries. Yeah. Porto wouldn't have got him for 10 million. Yeah. So Hendrik costs like above 60 million for Real Madrid to pay him. William Estevão will be at least above 40 in my opinion.
Yeah, that name is.
That's a bold prediction.
That name is rising through the ranks these days. It keeps showing up.
We'll put him in the thumbnell.
Definitely.
We'll put him in the thumbnail. So
Definitely.
5 you don't know.
5
and if you do know, say in the comment section and say others that we don't know.
well, this one you might know, but I'm going to say it anyway because Rooney Bargi, he's been around a while.
Good name.
Very, very hard not to notice him now.
FM followers know.
Yeah, FM followers definitely know. But Rooney Bargi, that's the thing, is when FM and the actual world, it is reality that we live in. Correct? FM is not reality.
I want to get into it back.
I know. Rooney Bargi, already 50 or close to 50 appearances to his name from Copenhagen. Copenhagen is where Højlund came from. It's where most recently Håkan Haraldsson, who moved to Lille, came from. So they are not immune to selling their stars. But Bargy is basically a veteran at this point. He's got 7 goals in 50 games for them. And with Copenhagen being this type of a team, and Bargy already being a U21 Swedish international, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when, I think, is getting sooner and sooner and sooner, because I think that Eredivisie is the next place he goes. He's still a little slight. He's growing. I think a place like Ajax is a phenomenal place for him to learn.
I don't know if you've seen news about that, but this kid is definitely starting to track up, and 50 appearances or close to that?
Yeah.
That's bold, mate. That is bold. Prestiani vibes right there with Velez Sarsfield too. Okay, I'm going to mention another Brazilian. This is a player that John Texter at Botafogo, he has him there, and I'm expecting him to definitely be more talk now with the injury of Tiquinho Soares. That is, how good is Tiquinho Soares in Brasileiro? He might be the best player in Brasileiro until he got injured. But the player that's replacing him, or should, is Matheus Nascimento. Okay. Matheus Nascimento, I've watched him play since he's 15. Yeah. And the mobility, the promise, the expectations.
The hair.
The hair, iconic. And the owner of Botafogo, John Texter, knows. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Crystal Palace after, or in 1 to 2 years even. Because we saw Matheus França leaving Flamengo and going there. But talking about Matheus Nascimento more, very mobile, good finisher for his age, great experience already, always with the Brazil national teams, growing up the rankings. Yeah. He's got it all. Yeah. So I think, just like you said with Ronny Bargy, it's a case of time. Mm-hmm. I think Matheus Nascimento, it's a case of time too, getting things right. And yeah, he's one of the next big Brazilian strikers in the come up.
All right.
You have to know him.
Okay, I feel like I got to one-up you now. All right, let's see. No, I'm going to go with the hottest hand so far this season. Oh. It's early. We're going to go into the depths of the second Bundesliga.
Ooh.
Young Turkish international. We like those, right? Especially after Arda Güler, everybody wants to find the next Arda Güler, right? This is not a comparison in any way, shape, and form, but he is an attacking mid. He can play on the wing. It's 17-year-old Can Uzun, and he plays for Nuremberg, or FC Nuremberg. I don't know necessarily how best to say it, but listen to this. In his first 3 starts, professional career, he's got 5 goals, 2 assists. Okay? Second Bundesliga is not exactly
that's a good showing.
A walk in the park per se. But here's the thing, if you delve a little bit deeper, I'm not going to say he has Mukoku numbers in the junior and Bundesliga, but he had 27 goals in 24 games for the U17s.
That's good.
And he's got 15 and 16 for the U19s, and he's still 17. And now he's already got 5 and 3 for the senior team. So something's happening. And I know we're just talking about statistics here. Look him up yourself. You tell me if he passes the eye test, because he does for me. That's for sure. So Can Uzun is one that might get snapped up by a Bundesliga team, or I could see one of the Turkish giants coming in, prying him away.
Well, being a Turkish kid and seeing Arda Güler's ascension, and for how much he went.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Nuremberg is even thinking their own.
Yeah, well, it'd be good to see one day them back in the
Bundesliga. Yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah, I remember. Quite iconic team, like Cologne, too.
I think, Nuremberg might be the most successful team, or one of the most successful team ever in terms of Bundesliga. Old Bundesliga, yeah.
More than Bayern?
I'm going to look it up.
No, look it up. Bayern Munich. No, no.
Well, they've done a lot. But
I'm going to say, a player that is, I'm going to say a player that is in the team that Breton is wearing a jersey here now. Afonso Moreira. He did play for the first team for Sporting last game against Vizela. That was, until the very end, that was quite a struggle. Gyökeres, great display by him. But keeping on Afonso Moreira came in as a left wing back, and I know for a fact he's a right winger, and he can play at the right winger, and he will grow. He will grow in the Sporting team with Ruben Amorim, and at the beginning of the season, he's got a sub role, and it's an important role. He went in. I believe by the end of the season, we could see him as a starter, going against Trincão, Marcus Edwards, Paulinho that can play next to Gyökeres. He needs to step up massively, and I believe in this kid and in his potential. Afonso Moreira.
And I know it was only one game I saw, and I'm probably not qualified to talk on Primeira Liga that much. Well, but listen, from what I saw with him, compared to what I saw from Edwards and Trincao.
Yeah.
I hope he sees a lot more time.
Ah.
I think he should
He's
see a lot more
much
time.
younger than them.
Yeah, and
Much younger.
Then that's not saying that he didn't. He made
4
mistakes,
years.
right? He
No,
made
no.
mistakes, but at the same time, he was taking men on.
And he had
no
double.
problem.
He had double.
Yeah.
They were defending double
Yeah,
because
he's
they
good.
knew he was going to cross it.
He's good.
He's really good.
All right. Well, I was wrong. Nuremberg is the second.
Second is
Of course,
quite
behind
crazy,
Bayern.
man.
The difference is stark.
But second
30
is quite crazy.
33 titles for Bayern, 9 titles for Nuremberg. and the majority of them, I don't think one has come for like 60 years.
Oh
so,
my gosh.
But hey, it's still more than Dortmund.
That is an investment group looking at that history and saying,
Get
you
him.
might as well make it happen
Well,
again.
Kanu's on. Maybe he can help with that.
We're a Turkish billionaire.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Turkish Airlines, come on.
Yeah.
Come on to Nuremberg. I'm joking.
All right. Well, I think I maybe I'll have one more for you. I don't know. We've done 5 in total.
But tell us another mention. The people are listening
Yeah.
still. So who's your last one?
Okay, I'm gonna go
Our last
American.
one.
I'll go my American for the last
I
one.
like
And
the player you're gonna mention, though,
Yeah,
Breton.
and the only
He deserves it.
The only sad thing here is that he's currently injured. He's going to be out a couple months, but he's an 18-year-old Rokas Puskás. I always screw up his name. Puskás.
Puskás. Roko Puskás.
Puskás, like the no.
I think it is.
Okay, it's Puskás.
Puskás?
Anyway, he came from Sporting Kansas City's academy. He moved over and he fought his way not just through Hajduk Split's academy. He has found his way into the starting 11. He has actually been a key cog in the wheel as they've started their season, and he had a brace on opening day. So this is a kid who's still only 18. In the future, I'll do my future 26 players that might line up for the 2026 World Cup for the U.S.
That's a good video.
And Rokas Puskás, probably you're gonna have to do Portugal.
I'll do Portugal.
Okay. I know it's early, but it's too much fun not to do it. And Rokas Puskás is one that you almost have to think about. You think about the midfield of the U.S. men's national team, and there aren't many glaring holes. Not many spaces that you can move into, but Puskás is good enough to threaten the guys that are currently there with a couple more years of development. What it will take, though, is likely a move from Hajduk Split at some point to somewhere bigger, and the Eredivisie, again, I mentioned this. I think it's a great place for people to go.
But thinking on Roko in this case, he is playing really well in the youth league too.
Yeah.
So I am absolutely sure many top teams are already very aware of this player.
True.
And if it's not Eredivisie, Primeira Liga maybe, Ligue 1, maybe MLS, taking a chance on one of their kids.
I don't want him back there just yet.
But definitely is a player to watch and a future player in the U.S. men's national team, just like another one we should say, from Benfica. A Benfica player in the U.S. men's national team in the future will be
Joshua Winder.
And we know Benfica already has high expectations on him.
Huge
don't we,
expectations. Yeah. He was just given a number, and his number is a very historic number. No, it's a big number.
Come on,
it's a
mate.
big number. It is. It's a big
it
number.
is.
I mean, to be
For
given,
Benfica.
he's playing for Benfica B. Joshua Winder is, I think he's 19 now. He might be 18, but he came over from Louisville City FC. And what's big about him is that he never went into MLS before going out, okay? Which made him the
USL,
most
right?
expensive USL, which are the lower divisions, USL championship signing. And in the end, Benfica clearly saw something that they felt a canvas they could continue to paint on. He comes over here.
Said.
He's just now settled. We were supposed to meet up with him, and if you happen to be listening,
We'll
sorry.
meet him
We'll meet him
eventually,
at some
definitely.
point. But what you got to say is clearly they had an intention to bring him over to pay the fee, but on top of that, he's here long enough to get settled. They give him the number 66. And I only know of 2 other players of massive importance that have worn 66 previously. Let me get this right. Antonio Silva, most recently.
And the best
And
center
before
back.
that, the best center back in the world right now, Ruben Diaz. So,
And Joshua Winder.
Yeah,
Remember the name.
yeah, I just don't think that's accidental.
No,
It's not accidental.
No. It's
Okay.
not. It's not.
All right, cool.
Benfica Academy. They clearly put the numbers with an idea too. But people, tell us your players that you think we don't know, that nobody knows in the comments section. Names that you believe will be at the highest level and they are madly under the radar.
Because you're going to fire up FM again, right? Yeah, we got work to do.
I said I installed FM again, so I'm trying to see if I get back to it once again. But people, this was a different podcast. We filmed from a beautiful landscape here in Estoril. But just please, if you're listening until now, drop that like, go bold, comment any opinion about this podcast, and follow us on FC Wonderkid if you're listening until now. Thank you, Breton, so much for going bold once again, and thank
Pleasure
you
to
for
be here.
watching until now and going bold too.